There's a question about your early years that can make your mind go completely blank. Not because it was awful, but because a part of you knows the story feels incomplete. As if you fast-forwarded through entire seasons meant for play. This isn't about dramatic events. It's about the subtle daily weight of becoming an adult long before your time. Maybe it was keeping the peace at home, or being the shoulder for a struggling parent, or learning to manage a household budget in middle school. This is the psychology of the child who matured ahead of schedule and the adult they became. That competent, serious child you had to be. They never really left. They are the silent architect of your choices, your fears, and your strengths today. Let's give this a name. Psychology calls it parentification or adultification, but those clinical terms miss the visceral truth. They don't capture the feeling of a young mind learning to be a crisis manager. Research shows this isn't true maturity. It's a brilliant, painful survival adaptation. Your nervous system calibrated itself to a world where being alert wasn't optional. What felt like your normal was, in fact, someone else's emergency. The skills you forged are undeniable. You became an expert in reading rooms, forecasting moods, and solving problems before they bloomed. You learned the heavy language of emotional labor before you learned algebra. But here is the unexpected cost, the bill that arrives decades later. Paradoxically, the monumental challenges in life. You navigate those with a strange ease. It's the simple, quiet acts of being human that feel impossible. Asking for support, sitting in stillness without guilt, allowing yourself to be playful or careless. These feel perilous. Why? Because your earliest blueprint taught you that the world's stability depended on your vigilance. You didn't just learn a behavior, you built an entire identity around being the responsible one. This shows up in adulthood in profound ways. You are the designated rock in every crisis. You often find yourself in relationships where you are the caregiver, the fixer. This isn't a flaw. It's because being needed was the primary language of love you understood. Receiving care with no strings attached can feel unsettling, even wrong. So why does genuine, available love sometimes feel like a threat? Then there's the matter of control. It's not about being domineering. It's a deep-seated need to manage every variable because unpredictability once meant everything could unravel. You plan, you rehearse conversations, you have backup plans for your backup plans. People may call you a perfectionist, but they were really witnessing the ghost of a child who learned that dropping their guard had real consequences. The exhaustion from this is cellular. That profound tiredness a nap can't fix. That's a nervous system that's been on high alert since the 4th grade. Your body never learned that rest could be safe. In your world, pausing meant things might collapse. Your worth became tangled with your usefulness a long time ago. This creates a haunting relationship with achievement. You accomplish, you strive, you build, yet it never feels sufficient. There's always a whisper pushing for more. Society, of course, rewards this. It praises your independence, your productivity, your low maintenance. It never pauses to ask what you had to sacrifice to become this way. You're fluent in a dialect few choose to learn, the language of holding space, of absorbing tension, of making others comfortable while you feel invisible. And the strangest part, you might feel most alone when you're surrounded by people. Not lonely, but fundamentally unseen. The sheer effort of maintaining equilibrium for everyone goes unnoticed, and pointing it out feels like admitting you failed at your core purpose. So, what is the path forward? How do you heal a wound that was formed by 1,000 subtle cuts, not one single scar? First, permission to grieve. Grieve the childhood that was lost. The version of you that could have been reckless, dependent, and yet still secure in their belonging. That child deserved that chance. Acknowledging this loss isn't bitterness, it's honesty. Second, you must learn, and this is the arduous, beautiful work, that being needed is not the same as being loved, that your value is intrinsic, not transactional. You're not a human doing, you are a human being. You're allowed to rest, you're allowed to not know. You're allowed to be the one who falls apart and is held. You can be a beginner at being cared for. That incredibly strong, resourceful child within you did a miraculous job. They held the world together with sheer will. But they can stand down now. It is finally safe to let someone else share the load. It is safe to explore a lightness you were denied. What might become possible if you gently loosened your grip? If this exploration of early maturity resonated, please support the channel by liking this video. For more insights into the hidden patterns of the mind, subscribe to Psychology Explained.